What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, all right, we're coming back to Linkin Park. Yes, indeed, Linkin Park fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-boobity bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Yellow Icicle, and Yellow Icicle want to see me react to this song by Linkin Park called Lost. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, yeah, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by Linkin Park, and no surprise there. And the video has 46 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Lost. Official music video. Wah, wah, wah.
Thomas had never seen such bullshit before.
Yeah, there's that word official coming off of their official page. Yeah, boy. Look, you didn't know what I'm going to say, so I'm not going to say it. All I'm going to say is just wait and see what happens and hope for the best. And of course, Linkin Park at the end. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Animated video.
Just a scar somewhere down inside of me, something I cannot repair, even though it will always be. I pretend it isn't there. I'm trapped in yesterday, where the pain is all I know, and I'll never break away, 'cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion, but I'm tired.
That chorus, man, they really like that riff, don't they? You know, 1 to the 3 to the 7 to the 4. They really like that riff. A number of their songs follow that same chordal progression. I couldn't help but notice that. I was like, there's a bunch of Linkin Park songs that have that exact same chordal progression. Maybe not starting on the same note. It may not have the same root note, but it still follows that 1 to 3 to 7 to 4. It still follows that. Anything wrong with it? No, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I find it entertaining. That a lot of, it's not just Linkin Park. There's a lot of bands that'll do that. They'll find a formula like when it comes to a chordal progression. And they utilize it quite a bit because they like it. And whether it's intentional or not, it kind of becomes their calling card. Now, whether that's by design or whether that's just purely coincidental, that's up for debate. You know, I'm sure people are going to have their thoughts about it. People are going to have, you know, their theories about it. Is it something that they do intentionally as a band when it comes to their songwriting process? Do they intentionally try to write songs utilizing that riff? Or is it just complete accident? Who knows? I don't know. I'm sure nobody else knows either, unless they're members of Linkin Park and they know for a fact that it's one or the other. But they're the only ones that really know. Everybody else's thoughts on it, it's conjecture. So I'm not going to try and guess. I'm just saying I couldn't help but notice it. There's a number of songs from Linkin Park that have that same chordal progression. It sounds good. I like the fact that they switch things up and they get away from that progression when they go into the verses. It's different. They go, first of all, they completely started a completely different note. And then their movement completely goes against what happens in that main riff. So adding a little variety, but at the same time, not going so far out into left field that it sounds like two completely different songs. No, there's a bond. There's a common denominator. There's definitely a mesh happening there. It feels good. It sounds conducive within the context of the song as a whole. So no issues there. It's a good listen so far. So far, so good. I got no complaints. Let's keep going. Let's see how this goes.
I will always be afraid of the damage I've received, broken promises they made, and how blindly I believed. I will never break away, 'cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain
That's
inside,
nice.
but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion.
Interesting, given the breakdown, the exact same chordal progression and riff that they had in the chorus. I mean, it works. It does work. I just think it shows a little, I mean, for lack of a better word, I think it just shows a little lack of creativity. There's other things there's other riffs they could have come up with to differentiate between the breakdown and the chorus, especially considering the fact that the breakdown and the chorus were literally right next to each other. And they're going to use the same riff for both. It kind of makes it a little more difficult to separate the two. I don't know. I don't know about that part. Everything else I was fine with. Everything else I got no issue with whatsoever. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Linkin Park with Lost. This was a request from Yellow Icicle. Cool. I got a score here. I got my reasons, and I promise if you hear me out and listen to my reasons for how I came up with the score, you'll see where I'm coming from, and it's going to make sense. Okay, I guarantee you. Let's start with the score, and we'll go from there. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.1. Yep, 7.1. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 7.1. What does that mean? Well, a 7.1 would translate to a really good scale rating, because overall, I think this was a really good song. It would also get 4 to 5 stars and a B letter grade. Yeah, B is in boy. So there you go, a 7.1, really good scale rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. It's a good song. It is a good song. It's actually a really good song, taking everything into account. I talked at length about the riff already. I've heard a number of songs by Linkin Park that follow that same riff. Is there anything wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just curious. Is that by decision? Like, is that intentional, or is that just a complete fluke? I don't know. But yeah, I know there are bands out there that they'll find a particular riff, a particular formula that works for them, and they will work that formula as much as they can to make it work for them as much as they can. So, I don't know if that's the case with Linkin Park or not. I have no idea. And nobody else does either, unless you're a member of Linkin Park and are there in the songwriting process, making the decision to intentionally do it or not. So, please guys, don't try to tell me that you know. No, you don't. No, you don't. Unless you're a member of the band. Now, if you're a member of the band, let me know, and I'll go with your theory there. Yeah, right. like any member of Linkin Park's gonna watch this channel. The song had a nice groove, nice feel. I talked about the two riffs, the main riff, which was the chorus, and then the verse riff, and how they were very different from each other, and yet at the same time they were both conducive to the song. It didn't feel like two different songs. That's happened before with bands on the channel that I've discovered, where it's like, okay, the verse does one thing and then the chorus does a complete different direction, and it sounds disjointed. Now, this did not sound disjointed. This sounded like it was both parts were part of the same song, but there was a very clear difference between the two. And I actually gotta say, I like that. I like the fact that you didn't have to really think about it. You know, here's the verse, it's this riff, and then they would transition, set up and fill in the drums into the chorus, the main riff that was very different than what was happening in the verse. I like that. And I know that's a kind of a fine line to walk, because you go too far with it and it does sound disjointed. You don't go far enough and it's kind of hard to tell the two apart. But in this case, they got it. They got the formula just right. Vocally, it sounded just fine. I'm not going to sit here and say I was blown away by anything I heard in the vocals. Even by Linkin Park's own standards, even by Chester's own standards, I've heard far more impressive performances from him than I did on this song. Having said that, though, what he sang sounded just fine. I had no complaints about it. I'm just not going to sit here and blow things out of proportion. Same thing can be said for everything that happened with the instrumentation, within the guitar, within the bass, within the drums, within the sampling, within the keyboard. It's all across the board solid work. Okay, nothing impressive, but at the same time, nothing that made me go either. So everything was fine. My only gripe, and did this have an effect on the score? Yes, but we're literally talking about a 0.1 difference. The breakdown section into the chorus, utilizing the exact same riff for the breakdown section that you're going to use for the chorus without anything in between. They literally linked together, having no separation. It literally bled one into the other. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, that made it seamless. And you're right, it did make it seamless. And that's my problem with it. The breakdown section should usually 99% of the time, breakdown section will stand apart, not just from the chorus, not just from the part that's going to go into next, but from the entire song. That's what makes it a breakdown. It'll stand alone on its own and stand apart from everything else that's happening within the song, while at the same time staying conducive to the song. But the breakdown section usually 99% of the time stands apart and stands alone. Okay, and that's what makes a breakdown section effective, is having the fact that it doesn't bleed into anything else. It'll lead into other things, sure. It'll lead into through transitions, but when we're literally doing the exact same chord progression, the exact same way that the chorus is being done, and they are back to back, right next to each other, no transition, no nothing, not even a drum fill, just right into it. That's a little too seamless for me. I would have liked to have seen more of a separation. You know, even a drum fill, like a 2-measure drum fill, would have been nice. Or maybe switch to like halftime feel. That would have been good. Do the same chord progression, but do it in a halftime feel. Make it a separate thing. Make it feel different without actually changing anything other than the feel. I think that would have been far more effective. I hate to say it, but it sounded, I know I'm going to get heat for saying this, but but you know what? I'm going to say it. I honestly don't care.
Oh, no.
It sounded unimaginative. It sounded uncreative. It was just like, okay, we're just going to slap these two things together and there you go. Well, all right. I mean, if that's what you want, I mean, it still works in the end. Like I said, some people prefer that smoothness. Okay, well, that's them. It's not me. Did it have any effect on the score? Yeah, it did. Literally a 0.1 difference. So instead of getting a 7.2, they're getting a 7.1. Does it change anything? No, it still would have been a really good, still would have been 4 to 5 stars, still would have been a B letter grade. It made no impact whatsoever other than the numeric score. And we're talking about a 0.1 difference. Guys, you're going to lose your heads over a 0.1 difference. I can't help it. I really can't. I'm not a licensed psychologist. You might want to talk to one of those if you're going to lose your head over a 0.1 difference. But in any case, a 7.1, it's a really good score for what I believe overall is a really good song. So yeah, that's where we are at, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 7.1, which is a really good skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later, peace.